Hi, this is Jeff from the House Painting Podcast. Right now I want to do a tutorial on how to paint a wall, just the basic process of cutting in and rolling afterwards as part of, taking care of a larger room. I want to show you this wall right here. This is what we're going to be working on. Just pick a small one so I can show you the process. You can see I already did the ceiling. And the crown molding is painted. I work from the top down just to make sure everything is coming down. It makes for a neater, faster process. You don't want to be jumping back and forth. You can see the bottom edge of it is kind of rough. Like I don't do like a really detailed, slow cutting in of that line. I just get the paint on there, and that saves me a lot of time because what I'm going to do is come in with the wall paint. And that's where I'm going to make that line neat. So instead of cutting in 2 detail lines, I'm only doing 1, and that actually saves a significant amount of time over the course of doing a whole house. I'm going to set this up, and we'll be right back and start cutting in this wall. Okay, here's a close-up of the crown molding. I always start in the corner and work towards the middle and the other side, and I'll work around the room in a circle, or a square actually. And I'm just gonna give you a close-up shot, and then I'll pan back and show you the process of doing the whole wall. And this is just like process you use for painting trim and everything. I'm gonna try to do a nice straight line because this color is slightly different from the trim. So. I just put the point of my brush up in the corner, and I keep my arm straight, and I just lean my whole body over to the left in this case and just paint that in. Now this is going to need 2 coats, so it's going to be a little streaky. But you can see how that goes on real nice. And then you smooth everything back so you get consistent paint coverage, as consistent as possible in the first coat. And I usually come down a little bit because once I'm done cutting in all along the ceiling, I move the ladder out, and then I can reach everything from the floor. And that's a faster way to do it too. So there's a close-up shot of the first part of cutting in. Now I'm going to pan back so you can see me paint the entire wall. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start cutting in this wall. I'm going to do all around every corner, every edge, so that when I roll I don't have to come down and hit the baseboards with that or anything. It makes for a nice, neat edges on everything. And basically just do it just like this. And you notice I don't play around with the paint too much. Once it's on there, I just smooth it out and move on. I'm going to let the paint do the work. The second coat's going to make the complete coverage. And it's all about just getting it on the wall. Yeah, you move the camera again. I was saying basically you want to keep your brush as full paint as possible. As soon as it starts to dry out, you want to stop painting on the wall. You don't want to have too much pulling the paint around because you end up with streaks and it doesn't cover very well. The more paint you can put on, the better. Get down to the corner, put the point of the brush in, pull it up. And for the baseboard, I always do the baseboards last, so I don't have to be super neat. You know, I don't want to slop it all over the place, but at the same time, I don't have to make a nice, slow, straight line on there. So I just, you know, I kind of put the brush in and just drag it along, and it's okay if a little bit gets on the top of the baseboard, especially if the colors are really similar, because you're going to cover it with the final coat anyways. And that's why working from the top down is a better process, because you just save so much time from, you know, having every aspect of it be super detailed. And I found that to be a great time saver. Getting around this register. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. Nice long strokes, I back brush it, make sure it's nice and smooth. That's the other thing. Usually you want to only do one wall at a time. When you cut in, as soon as you're done cutting that wall in, you want to come back and roll it right away. Otherwise, if you have any ridges along where you just painted the cut in, it's going to show up and you're not going to have a smooth surface. It's going to be all lumpy. So, you know, that's a technical term. So you don't want to do that. You want to avoid that and paint it right away, because when you roll over it, it'll all smooth out and it'll blend in together for a nice smooth surface. Same thing along here. Just cut it in, not worrying too much about getting a little bit on top of the baseboard. You see I have the plates on here. That's not a mistake. I just wanted to have those on there to show you that these need to be taken off. The best way to paint in here is to paint underneath them. That way if you decide you want to change the plates, or they may end up being a different size, or they may get painted on, and then when you pull them off it'll chip the paint, and then you got to repaint the whole, you know, do a touch up there. So it's best to just take them off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, this is Jeff with the House Painting Podcast, continuing with painting this wall. I'm just going to go ahead and start rolling. Got my 18-inch roller, I got it nice and full of paint. Scraped it off in there, make sure it's not dripping so I can hold it up here. You want to start in the corner, and I usually start in the middle, because if you put too much paint on, you're gonna create like drip marks up at the top edges and on the sides. So start in the middle, and then come over to the side like this and go up. This creates a situation where I can make a nice even coat of paint and spread it around. I go over it a few times to make sure it's nice and even. To get down in these areas, and turn it sideways. This right here too. And then to get rid of any marks I might have created, just go over it again. As soon as the roller dries out, I want to definitely put more paint on there. I don't want to be rolling with a dry roller. It's just wasting your time. You got to make sure you're always putting paint on. And it also can damage the roller cover to the point where it gets so matted down that it won't hold paint anymore. So just make sure to always keep a lot of paint on your roller. can see I go over it a few times to make sure that it's nice and even. Not going to get any edge marks. And I come back and I overlap my last row by half, so that you're not getting any lines in the paint. Now here what I'm going to do, since this is a small area up top and I have a full roller of paint, I'm not going to start up there. I'm actually going to start on the wall over to the side here. I'm going to get rid of a lot of that paint. Just put it on there like that, and then I'll start rolling it in and filling everything in. It keeps you from, splattering, making big drip marks that are hard to go back and roll out. Because the more you mess with it, the more you're going to mess it up. It's best to just do things in the right order, get them nice and smooth out, and leave it. Let it dry nice and smooth. Because if you roll it back, basically you're going to create flashing marks in the final sheen of the paint. So see there? Got that? Some more paint. Let's see what I'm doing over here. Basically, same thing. I'm going to start over here. I already got, paint coming on in this area, so I'm just going to start blending it in. Making sure it's a nice smooth coat. For these areas, I want to turn it sideways. Just make short little steady movements. You don't want to start bouncing around too much, or I'm going to paint all over this light switch, and I don't want to hit any of that stuff. So a little bit of the trick of using an 18-inch roller. It's definitely worth learning how to do it that way. Because this wall is broken up, but when you get into doing larger areas, you can just really haul. You can go really fast with the 18-inch roller. Sorry, we got a little unexpected noise in the background. The electricians are putting in a new panel downstairs, so I figured since I was doing this wall, I'd give you time to show you. Alright, so I'm almost done here. Just going to get this bottom corner, same thing, I'm going to turn sideways. Just roll in, and you notice a lot of this is about body position to the wall too. If I was trying to do this straight on, it'd be really awkward. So I get to the side, and I can just do it like this, and I have a lot of control over the roller. Smooth it in. You can go, make sure everything's fully smooth. You can go across and back roll everything. Now this is the first coat of a light paint over a dark wall, so it's going to take, you're going to see the color coming through underneath. But the smoother you get it, the easier the final coat will be to put on. Okay, thanks. That was Rolling a Wall with the House Painting Podcast. I'm Jeff Ganter.